Welcome back to the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast, episode 171. I'm Graham. I'm here with Luke and Richie today, and we have Dan Romero from the PNW, which is a long ways away from the East Coast, but he drives a Cherokee, so he's already cool.
It's even cooler than a Cherokee. I would almost call it a Chero buggy, but like 3/4 scale.
Hey, yeah, that's right.
I don't know what 3/4 scale means, but
small.
There's a funny story on that one.
Okay. So yeah, we don't have Cody this week. He was not feeling well, so down a man, but this should be good. Dan's been really great so far in the few minutes I've talked to him, and it sounds like he's got there's some controversial stuff, I guess, that was mentioned as far as axles go. I don't know, but we'll save that for a minute because I do want to hear about the rig and how you got into wheeling, and I guess just like how did you get into this? What kicked you off to building rigs, doing things, off-roading?
Right. Well, like you said, my name's Daniel. I go by Squirrel. A lot of people know me by Squirrel. Funny thing is that that nickname came from a off-road team down in SoCal, where I'm actually from.
So we got the full West Coast experience going on.
Oh yeah. We got I started off with the first team that I joined was Barrientos Off Road. They're in SoCal, super SoCal, but they just basically made fun of me and my cheeks. And when I laughed, they're like, "This fucker looks like a squirrel." I was like, "Fuck you guys!" Try not to laugh. To show off the cheeks, I guess, or whatever. But
well, that just makes it worse when you're trying not to do something.
Exactly. So it's like I can't fucking laugh, like. But yeah, that's where it comes. I'm originally from SoCal, out in the LA Orange County area. But I got into off-roading at the early age of I want to say like 17, 18. The back roads over in San Bernardino area, like Riverside. I lived a lot of summers out there with my grandma and my uncles that were kind of into the sport, but they were just kind of back roads and not really rock crawling or some major off-road. It was just getting out in the dirt and where there's not many laws to be followed. But just started off with the Nissan Frontier.
Oh,
I had
shit,
that,
okay.
yeah, I just had that for a while and just hitting those back roads. And I really didn't get into the crawling and building till about 2015, 2016 when I bought a ZJ, a Grand Cherokee ZJ.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? It had the 5.9.
Okay,
So
that
I
makes
was
things
ripping
slightly
it.
more exciting.
Yeah. So it was actually funny how I got that thing. I had a BMW, like some fucking prick, and traded that for the ZJ. And
Please tell
that's
me it
how I
was
got
white
in.
with black rims, because like that's just like the ultimate douchebag BMW. If you're going down that path, like you gotta be dedicated.
No, unfortunately, I am Mexican, so that bitch was black on black.
Well, that's cool too.
Okay.
Black on black is acceptable. There's
Black on black is classy. You know what else I love?
There we go.
Black with the white rims. Like, I'm gonna butcher them, but the Ikais or whatever they are, the 5-spoke on a BMW slammed looks phenomenal. And I'm not a car guy.
Oh. Yeah, no, I had that BMW and traded it for the ZJ, but I actually ended up getting back into the car scene, and I got an E30, a BMW E30, which is
E30s
like
are cool.
Yeah, so I was initially trying to get it into the drift world, but my path cut up and ended up getting that shit impounded, and I never got it back because I was a broke kid and I couldn't get it out.
Damn.
Sorry to
Yeah,
hear
but
that. That sucks.
no, it's all good. But yeah, I got that ZJ. I started kind of building that up, and I joined a team with a bunch of old timers, Los Burros Off Road. So they were a bunch of older cats, and really actually taught me a lot about wheeling and building and stuff. And that's where like my passion for this sport kind of just took off. And um, a little bit after that is when I moved up here to the PMW. Um, After hitting when I had that CJ down there, I wheeled Big Bear, Johnson Valley a bit. I think I did Johnson Valley like twice, but I did a lot of runs at Calico. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
I feel like I've
Uh,
heard of it, but
heard of
I
Yeah,
don't.
it
yeah.
it's all right. It's all right. It's got its they're sharp rocks and just you get all the kind of grip out there. But I did that for a while down there, and then I moved up here to the PNW, and that's kind of where things actually just really skyrocketed again. And I got another ZJ, unfortunately, and that only lasted for a little bit. And then I think I blew my front end. I blew my front end out, and I was like, "Oh, I'm too poor to fix this, so let's sell it." And I ended up finding my fucking Cherokee for $500.
Those days are long gone now.
Oh, super long gone. It is crazy the amount that these things are going for now.
I didn't mean to derail that far, but like I get it. I got a $300 trash can, and it's always going to be a $300 trash can, even though I can't replace it for three. Or it's cheaper to buy a chassis at this point than to replace my Jeep with another one.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, no, I got the good old squirrel here, 2-door 90. It's a 90 Cherokee 2-door that I had for a while, and I was still learning how to get things going. I think I went through like 3 or 4 type of stages of the build before I got into some real fabrication, which was after a flop. So we have a park here called Elbe, well known. They run an event that is an annual event there. It's a race called King of Elbe. So yeah, that park. I was out there with a bunch of couple of friends, and they I went up a bank and kind of just flopped my shit, and that's where the road cage and stuff kind of was born.
How
Out of
bad was
necessity.
the? How bad was it? Like carve
Yeah.
in the whole side of it, or because you went pretty extensive to just call it a roll cage is kind of doing that thing a disservice.
Yeah. So the initial flop wasn't that bad. It was just kind of like the super slow mo flop, but I was a few road sodas in. So I kind of just remember going over, and then after that, all I could remember was me kind of just standing inside my Jeep with my beer in my hand, like, oh yeah, I didn't spill this. And yeah, from there, we got we got it flipped over, and we took it over to my buddy Brian's house, who now has his own shop out of his house. And he's like, you know what, we can't really save this. I would just kind of just chop it. I'm like, what do you mean chop it, man? Like I like the daily drive-in shitbox kind of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up just cutting A pillar, B pillar, just all the way back, and just building a cage out of it. So he was a big part of that Capital City Customs out here in
Mhm.
Lacey, Washington. So me and him kind of just I gave him my vision. I was like, hey, you know what? I want to be a part of this. I want to learn how to bend tube. I want to do all this and whatnot. So we got into it, and the result was what it is now.
So, first of all, what is your Instagram name so that way everyone that is listening can actually go and look this up? I need to start actually
It's
asking
Squirrely
this question.
_XJ. I'm literally looking at it now. I'm going through.
Yeah, there we go. Don't be
And,
looking at my nudes, all right, man?
And when you say that you chopped it, you said you cut the A pillar and the B pillar. Like, let's go into a little bit of detail here with what you rebuilt in there because it's one off for sure. I
Thank
like
you.
it.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, we cut at the A pillar, B pillar, and I guess the C pillar back where the hatch was at. I already had frame stiffeners in the middle, I believe, in the midsection, and rock sliders. So we built off of the rock sliders and went from there. So we ended up tying up the front end. I got frame stiffeners in the front, and just kind of built the cage from there. We went down to the rock sliders, reinforced the rock sliders into the middle. The middle, I can't really say chassis because these shits are fucking
Terrible.
frameless. You know what I mean? Yeah, we already know all that. So, yeah, we just tied it in as much as we could.
So, for everyone listening, this thing's got I'm going to call it like a reverse node on the roof, which is kind of sick because of how many other nodes it puts in there at the opposing sides of the body. And then is it bobbed? Because it looks bobbed.
Now it is. So basically, when we bobbed it was the rear. You know, we did that when I four linked the rear.
And the part that
So
sorry.
no, go ahead.
The part that I like about this is it's got the Cherokee roofline very similar to like do you know Quarter Short XJ by any chance, or have you seen any of his Instagram stuff?
I
Red.
don't think so.
Red with
It's
the top chopped off, very similar to yours. Little different,
yeah.
but
Both of you guys kept the Cherokee looking body lines, so I dig that because you can definitely tell that it's a Cherokee. But yours is just cool because it's got like that. It doesn't have the 1 ton thing going on where the tires just are completely out from under the body, and it literally looks like a 3/4 scale Cherokee, which just like is fucking awesome.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the look that I was going for. I didn't want because I've seen people when they build, their row cages and their cage is just too tall, so it kind of looks like they got a fucking sombrero kind of cage looking thing, and I'm like, dude, I do not
yep.
want that. I want my cage to be as close as the original height of the body, and we just rolled with it. It's funny because we just started kind of bending tubes, and I was just like, look, I want my front end to like look very similar. Well, at least it has the specs to similar of the Cherokee body, and then the back kind of just starts to go down. So the back is a little bit lower than the front, so it kind of gives it a different look to it, I guess.
Yeah, it's just more streamlined.
Yeah.
It's very streamlined, and it kind of has like in between that Cherokee and like almost an Ultra 4 style roofline. It's pretty cool how it's all blended together. Now, like I said, it doesn't have that 1 ton look. So what's under it?
So originally, before the new sponsor I just picked up, the original axles it had was a JK a JKU Dana 30 up front, fully built to the T, and then the rear is a Curry housing 9-inch with the spool, chromoly shafts, all that good stuff. And the front, the JK Dana 30, which a lot of people kind of hated on because no one runs a JK or nobody runs a Dana 30 on a rig like mine and is doing things that I'm doing. They're always talking shit like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna blow a ring and pinion. You're gonna do this and this." So the Dana 30 up front has Reed racing knuckles, RCV shafts. It was sleeved, truss, seat gussets, and basically I think that's all that front end had, and it. I called it the unicorn because even when I had the stock gears in it, 373s, I never blew those gears.
Well, the thing that I like about those axles, and like I'm actually a stan of them. I've been saying that like if you're not going tons, that is the way to go, especially like if you can get a match takeout set for like a TJ that you want to stay on the street with and stay below a 37, because they're just actually tougher. The ring and pinion is bigger in a JK30 than it is in a XJ or TJ axle.
30, yeah.
You can put 30 spline chromos in there and it's like, okay, well, now you're actually talking about an axle that's starting to look pretty fucking serious if you're not looking at putting more motor on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing that I still have the stock, 4.0 and P case and all that, but when I went to 488 gears, it was after I broke the front end locker. I had I think it was like a some type of lunchbox locker that I had, and I grenaded it, and that's when I went to 488, and I got a Torque Master locker, which I actually ended up grenading recently. That's why I decided, you know what, I'm a little tired of breaking this Dana 30. The story behind the brakes that I've had, the only brakes I've had on that Dana 30 was both inner shafts, RCV shafts, I broke. So when I broke the initial first locker, I messed up the splines on the driver inner shaft, so I had to get that replaced. So when I got that replaced, and I got the 488s, and I got a Torque Masters lock, shout out to them, great customer service and whatnot. I ended up breaking the inner passenger shaft at Reeder, which is another crazy park up here at the PNW. This park has like all the buggy lines. It's pretty gnarly up there. They got some crazy stuff, but I just decided, you know what, it's done. Even with those 488 gears in there from Nitro, I never broke those gears like the internet says I would. I ended up breaking other things, so that's why we call it the unicorn.
You know what's funny about that is I've got a Spartan in my Dana 60 and it's leaving chunks of teeth in the bottom of the pan. So like I know that's going to be my problem.
And you haven't addressed it? Okay. Yeah, sounds like you're kind of a
what are you gonna do? I mean,
right
I guess the Spartan locker's not too hard to swap, but like, I don't know, my rear 10.5 gears are sort of in the same boat. They've been through hell, and I know they're at some point they're gonna give, but
yeah,
short of just redoing them before it grenades on me, I don't know what else am I gonna do.
I mean, like there's just a couple of little chunks in there. I'm not gonna go like throw the locker out at the moment because I can go and put another Spartan in there, which is going to do the exact same thing, or I can wait for this one to break and warranty it if it's not that big of a deal, or it's going to take everything with it, and then I have an excuse to actually fire the money.
I know you're a great wheeler and a great person because of that. You know what I mean? You're not some Lego put together bolt on motherfucker that just like, oh my god, I see this. Let me go and take it into the shop and get things fixed. You know what I mean? Like, nah, we're gonna run it till it breaks.
Dude, Graham can attest to this. We have watched both of our lockouts leave the chat and just go flying down the trail. We both have Dana 60s in there, so it's like these things happen.
We don't even know where that stub shaft went that night.
Jesus.
That one's gone. We never found it. It was like a 3-inch section of 05 plus 1550 shorty stub shaft bit, just gone.
It
Never to be seen
literally
again.
He was bound up and winching, and it just let go. So it blew the center section of the hub out, and the stub just took off into the woods very angrily. And like there was a spark somewhere in the woods, and it was gone.
I just remember you looking down with the wheel, like, it's your hub. And I was like, that sounded like way more than a hub.
That's kind of how one of my RCV shafts went out. Like, so there's this like iconic obstacle at Reader here in the PNW, and it's called God's Rock, and it's this huge boulder. You could probably, I don't know if you guys seen videos on this thing, but it's insane. So I went out there with a couple of friends, and I told them, I'm like, you know what? Like, we're here. I want to fucking hit God's Rock right away. So I go and I try and attempt this thing. This is a buggy line obstacle, and you guys know my Cherokee. And I'm like, okay, like, fuck it, let's do it. I ain't got no suck down winch. We're gonna just try and send it up.
Oh, you just became Graham's favorite
Suck downs are for
person.
babies, anyways. It's for improperly set up geometry rigs.
Yeah. So I ended up trying to make this thing. I didn't get to the top, but I was a fucking kitty hair away from the top, and my just shitty fucking Cherokee just started overheating. But to get out of there, I had to winch out, and when I was winching out, on the side of this giant boulder is when I guess one of my tires was bound up, and I blew that shaft.
When you're up on the rock?
No, so I tried to attempt it and got pretty close, and then I just had to back out. Like one of the tires was like
back off.
Yeah, no. I backed out, and then I had to go around it, to get out of the trail, and then that's because it's still kind of gnarly to get out of get away.
Oh, so you bound it up at an unrelated. I was like coming back. I could understand if you had like a rear shaft. We've talked to one dude who's like, yeah, we put all the weight on one corner of a 14 bolt, and it'll just shear the shaft. But I was like, that's weird for the front to do that on a back off, but that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I blew that inner shaft, the RCV, and I was like, all right, well, called them up. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm running 35s on these RCV shafts you guys got going on, and I blew one. Hence that I'm running 38 Patagucci's, the black labels. So, but we don't want to let them know.
Hey, these things are not of their concern,
right?
So,
don't hurt.
On a similar note to that, Richie will know this obstacle. Have you ever seen any videos of Roush Creek?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you know how they have the comp course there?
Yes.
The double step-up ledge on the comp course, we have this event called the Web Wheelers Ball, and you're invited. It's Labor Day weekend, but that's kind of a long haul, so we won't be offended if you don't show up. But we went up there, and I had been at the campsite. We had done dinner, and we were drinking and everything. And my buddy goes, yeah, I want to go for a rip with it with the 4-link. And, like, the park's kind of, shut down because, like, it's dark, and that's how that place operates. So we just went up that double step on the comp course, and no noises, nothing like that. I let out of the clutch, and I heard a pop. Sure enough, I got that thing so bound up I made it up the double step up there. I fell into the V-notch, and I was just wide enough with both tires to catch that, and it broke a Dana 60 outer right at the edge of the U-joint flange, just clean off. And
That's that. You know what? And I'll talk about this is that I have seen so many guys, gals, break Dana like 1 ton axles, and I have a buddy out here, fake news off road. They run a Samurai on Dana 44 axles, front and rear, and I have seen him bound up like in a super undercut with his rear tires, and that fucking thing did not blow. I'm like, what the fuck? I've seen 1 ton at 14 bulls, or like I even seen a Dana 70, I believe it was, just pop a fucking axle, and I'm like, geez, like this axle is blessed by the off-road gods or something,
some of them just are. Graham was running a Dana 50, which is like a 60, but it's 30 spline inners and outers. And
Yeah.
that thing was great, literally until it wasn't.
It did so good, and then the carrier broke in half on
Well,
nothing.
you
I don't
got
even like.
you got a Cherokee boy here who ran a Dana 30, and I've been bound up, and I did some gnarly stuff, and shit, it held up for as long as it did.
Yeah, I mean, the weight savings that you must have. I don't know what your rig weighs. I don't know if you know, but
Yeah,
like,
so I did a little giveaway with some buddies of mine from Trail Coins,
Mhm.
off road. They have some awesome trail coins that you can buy, and from different trails, from Big Bear to like the PMW and all that stuff. They sorry, I got distracted. My lady just got here. Hey. um so I just lost my train of thought. God damn it.
We were talking about weights.
Weights, yes. So I did a giveaway with Trail Coins to see who could guess the weight on my rig. And
Let me take
rig,
a gander. 3970.
okay, so that's one guess.
38.
Nobody else was a guess?
38
Uh,
flat.
4,050.
4,050 was the closest. Here we go. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
it was 40. I think it was like 4230 or something like that. Can't remember
That's
the
light.
exact number off the top of my head, but it was in the very low 4,000s.
So, just for perspective here, and part of the reason my rig's hard on parts the way it is, driver, passenger, full tank of fuel, and spares, 5,800.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we when I weighed mine, I went to my like local dump yard and whatnot. And I was like, "Yo, can I do this for the socials?" They're like, "Yeah, for sure. Go ahead." So we weighed it. I had a full tank, which I have a moto built 15-gallon tank, I believe it is. So that was full with my Dana 30, the 9-inch in the rear, and it was just me in the rig. And it came in at a little bit over 4,000 pounds.
That's not bad at all. That's extremely light. Like,
That's like the sweet spot. That's where you want to be with a crawler, I feel like. And
yeah,
that plus you run in 38s, you said, and some
Yeah,
smaller housing axles. Like, that thing probably just billy goats up most
yeah.
shit.
This bitch just kind of just ghosts. It just walks. It just floats over the rocks and stuff, and it's amazing, And that's why I never was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go to 1 tons because everybody and their mama and grandma and their fucking dog are doing 1 tons. No, I'm happy where I'm at, Plus, I'm fucking broke, so
hey,
I'm not. I don't have the money to throw out all the axles that I have and just build 1 tons, because in my opinion the most expensive part of building 1 tons is the wheels and tires.
yeah, you're not wrong.
Yep,
Uh,
can be for sure.
Ford Super Duty fanboy over here. I just run stock Steelies at this point. I tried a set of Bart Racing rims, and they bit me in the ass.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they were just like the generic Krager Steelies, and they bend. Like I cannot get them to stop. Or they might be Visions. I forget what they are exactly,
I
but
think you said they were. I don't know. Either way, there's a steel wheel.
it's just a
Oh,
generic
okay.
steel wheel. I bend them to the point that they debead, and whereas the Ford factory Steelies are, because of the way that they're built, the outer rim comes all the way, or the dish comes all the way to the edge of the outer rim, where
Yeah.
you're always mangling them, so they don't mangle in the same way that the other rims do. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's almost like a built-in rock ring. Cool.
Yeah.
And they're $50 a piece at the local junkyard, so you
Hey,
know.
that's a fucking win right there, my guy.
Yep.
The only
Yeah, no,
problem is
I run Dirty Life. I think they're the aluminum wheel bead locks. They're the DOT, so I don't have to
Oh, nice.
run the bead locks. You could run just the regular street tire
Yeah.
wheel, or you could get the beadlock rings. I'm sorry, and just run that. And that's what I have, which I should have. I should replace them pretty soon because, goddamn, they are beat to shit.
well, that's what happens to everything. We were at well, not we. I was at my buddy Sam's, and he did a bunch of work for me. What was it, last year, right around this time, Graham?
Roundabout.
Yep.
And like he built the rear tube section on my Jeep because I didn't have time. I had freshly, or not freshly, but I was still getting settled. I didn't know some of the people I know now. So he just did a shit ton of tube work for me, and I'm like, yeah, I bent it. And he's like, and I'm not ragging on him. He did a phenomenal job. If it wasn't there, it would have been my fuel cell. But he's like, yeah, it's kind of funny. Everything that we do on a rock crawler, the second that it leaves the shop, it's going to get destroyed. And that's just the name of the game. It's not like a nice car where you go and put a ton of time and effort into it and it's going to stay nice. It's just going to get destroyed. Like,
Yeah.
I've got a half-inch wall piece of DOM for my transmission cross member. Well, now that I have that, it's just bending the 3-link brackets upwards and inwards into the frame after we put the outriggers to stop it from going the other way. It's just, trash can 1-ton XJ things. And like you said, they don't have a frame.
Yeah, no, they don't. And I mean, honestly, I don't know how my shit isn't bent yet or tweaked. And
Wait,
maybe
it's
it is,
all
and I don't
fucking
know.
weight.
Yep.
Because I'm willing to bet that your rig would probably be quite content running the same trails that Graham's rig and my rig run on with a lot less effort applied. Just, both of our rigs are pigs. I wouldn't be surprised if Graham's rig fully loaded down with everything, including a spare, is over 6,000.
At this point, it probably is. Way back with the 50 and loaded for Kentucky, it weighed. It was like 57, 58, I thought. And that's just, me, a spare. The spare I don't always have in it, but then, a full tank of gas. So,
What do you run? What fuel cell are you running in that thing?
I run the factory Jeep fuel cell.
Okay.
Just
you
ratchet
got like
strap to the
19
back.
gallons or something like that, 20 gallons.
Yeah, I just
23.
didn't. My thought is I didn't want to lose the fuel capacity, and I've watched. I don't know if you've listened to any of our episodes or whatnot, but Luke's had nothing but issues with his moto build, and I don't know that to me because less so now, but at the time that I was changing my fuel tank location, it was still something I could drive on the road, and I want to keep it in a state where I have the option if I cleaned it up to be able to drive it on the road. And it's like
Okay,
I don't want
yeah.
to lose the fuel capacity, right? It's already a
Yeah.
pig. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I did that motor build. I think it was like a 15-gallon tank, and then I had to put a TJ fuel pump in there,
Mhm.
to run with what I have currently right now. Which I
Yeah.
should throw a fucking fuel filter in there, which I haven't. Don't tell nobody. I don't know how my engine is still running. But
It's a 4.0. There's plenty of capacity in the fuel rail for the junk. It doesn't have to go
yeah.
through the injectors.
So I had I put one of those TJ pumps in mine, and I think it has to do with my location being literally like right in front of the rear axle, but it still does the fluid slosh thing when it gets low, and it just snapped the pump off.
Oh, weird.
It does it with XJ pumps, it does it with TJ pumps, and like so I ended up swapping it for an external, and the external is fine. I'm just figuring out my regulator and filtering right now.
Yeah.
But that was the weirdest shit with that thing. And it was every 2 runs. The second run, it was guaranteed to blow up. And then you've got that stupid 24-hour sealant that like doesn't dry right ever. And if you look at it wrong, it starts leaking fuel.
Why are you looking at me?
Yeah, you know the shit that I'm talking about. That
Oh,
like the
yeah.
gray Permatex #2 or whatever it is. Is
Yeah,
it?
and I think that's what we ran on the fuel cap on the fuel cell for mine, and I look at it too, and I'm just like, let me close my eyes here.
Yeah. It used to look like when I got done getting it to actually seal where it wasn't like a problem, like a blind man had just like spread it with his hand in order to get my cell to seal, like up around the bolts everywhere. And then the pump
Just
would
put some
break.
Vaseline on it, my guy. Just put some
Yeah,
Vaseline on it.
the pump would break, and I would be out there with a screwdriver with like the jack handle holding what was left of my hatch up while I'm trying to like pick the stuff out, and then I finally just gave up. So yeah, that's my fuel cell tirade again for the millionth time.
Now he runs a boat gas tank.
Yeah, it's
Strapped
great.
down.
Not really, but
You just
whatever.
get a little like hand pump the fuel that way. It'll be
We're
reliable.
going there.
At least you can blame yourself.
Hey, just get a buddy to just feel your injectors or your up in the front in the hood.
So
Yeah, just
on
spit
that
gas
note,
into the intake.
Yeah,
on,
there you go.
on that note, I've been having problems with fuel delivery, so I was looking at a couple of rails with a built-in fuel pressure gauge in them. So, like, we could have someone sitting back there with a hand crank, run an extension, and then like have the fuel pressure gauge mounted right where you can see it, so you can see how fast you have to spin the pump to actually keep the fuel pressure where it needs to be.
Yeah, just
Shit'll
get a
be
Milwaukee
mint.
drill.
Richie, you're going to be operating the drill at the meet and beat.
There you go.
So you said that you got started in SoC. Actually, you know what? I've got so many other questions. Let's get into them first because they're
Let's
technical.
get into the juicy stuff, man. Hit me, come on.
So when you did the 4-link, did you buy a kit or were you just kind of like booger welding shit in there? Because booger welding shit in there is the way to do it.
We just kind of I had a vision. So when we got into the 4-link, like I said, my buddy Brian over at Capital City Customs, he built a cross member in for the rear with an awesome belly skid plate. And we just, we bought Heims, we bought Links, a truss, and that was some towers, obviously, because I ran coilovers. I'm rolling coilovers in the rear, so my coilovers are like, my towers are positioned back. I think it was like a 20 degree. They're pretty far back. But I just saw a few rigs that I was like, okay, they're running it like this. I feel like it would run great like this, because some people, they just run it where it's just vertical, or some of them run a like tender forward slant, But I was like, no, I want mine to tilt back. But basically, he built the cross member, ran the links. I cut those. I cut those, welded those, or whatever, and then the coils were kind of more of a difficult build, kind of just Frankensteined it, but we actually had to reinforce the rear, if you could call it a frame.
Yeah, I get what you're talking about. I sent you a
Yeah.
picture of how mine are set up. They're set up really similar, where it's got the
Okay.
rearward slant to it. Um, I ended up finding out that with that, I run a really weird stack up for coil springs, but due to the way that the axle functions when it comes up to bump, it I'm really happy with that setup and don't want to change it at all.
Yeah,
And
exactly with mine as well. Like after I took it out, I had to do some fine tuning with the coilovers, but essentially it did amazing on the rocks. It you don't you it just floated over the rocks, which was to me, amazing and whatnot. And I think that it just worked out phenomenal.
do you know what type of separation you ended up with at the frame side?
Off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay.
Fuck. You want me to get underneath it, man? I'm in the garage looking at the baby.
I mean, you ain't got to go that far if you don't want to. I'm just one of those weird technical people that likes their numbers, and like I've been slowly putting together from like learning and talking with other people in my experience, kind of like basic set of rules, and I call it the 25% rule, where if you can kind of keep everything within 25% of where it needs to be, it ends up working out really well. And we my buddy Logan down here, we did that with his front setup, and it seems like it's going to work out really well. I'm super excited to see how that goes. I know Graham and myself disagree about some stuff, but like I shoot for like 100% anti-squat and anti-dive, and up front I want more anti-dive to actually get the front axle to
Come up.
yes, because I'm
Yeah.
so stupid with the skinny paddle that like I'll point my nose up something and my foot will just go down on the floor. I don't want the Jeep to pull away from me. I want it to hunker down and like go.
Yeah.
You know,
So the
I run
rear
a.
link. Go
Sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
The rear link, the bottom links, like where they tie into the cross member together, they're probably like around like 9 inches.
Yep, right in the money.
Yeah. Just there, and then the upper links are they're on the the subframe or whatever you want to call it. My unibody. They're up, tucked inside, not outside or on the bottom. I wanted them to be tucked in, so they are up inside in the inner frame.
That's
So
different. I like it.
yeah, so I mean, it works out great. Like if you, I don't think I have many pictures of it on my socials, but the rear links are almost flat. They're probably at like a 3 or 4 degree incline from the back to the front, and then the upper links are just almost flat.
I mean, so that's kind of what you want. On my setup, my uppers at the actual axle side are higher than the. No, they're lower than the. Oh, what the fuck? I'm sorry. I have to go through pictures here. Um, yeah. So at ride height on mine, they have a slightly upward trajectory. So with the way that the anti-squat is, they end up going flat when I put my foot on the floor. And it's comfortable. Graham complains that it's a bit of a bobblehead because I fucked up my the separation, like how far apart they are on top of the axle. But it handles incredibly well at speed, which is kind of something that I was going for, because I don't know why I did that. We don't have anywhere around here that's like actually good for getting on it and staying at speed, but I wanted to be able to go fast, so that was the plan.
Gotcha. Yeah, because my front links are I started off with the Iron Rock 3-link, and I kept the cross member because it's that three. It's a what is
Yeah,
it?
3-piece.
2-piece
So you can
or
take the middle
3-piece?
out.
Yeah. So I could service the transmission or whatever,
Mhm.
and the link stay in place. But I ended up getting rid of that Y link, the 3-link, and building my own links. So built the new front links with 1.25" Heims and all that good stuff. Some beefy tubes. I think they were like 2.25" DOM, I believe.
Yeah, it makes
Sounds
sense.
about right.
Yeah, and then the upper link was the same thing, and it was just on the driver's side. And that one was difficult because that one is the bracket for that link is up in the inner frame as well. So I kind of had to cut the driver floorboard to like kind of bolt that bitch in.
Yep.
And finish the welding, but it's held up and it works amazing.
Well, also, you've got the weight thing going for you. Like, on the heavier pigs, Graham's rig and my rig, for example, I know both of us have had to modify our upper link mounts. I think we're both passenger side, right, Graham?
Yeah, passenger side.
So like we've had to cut sections of floor out, and on my rig, I took a piece of 1 3/4 square, and when I first had issues with the cross member bending, I took that 1 1/4 or 3/4 square, put that up against two flat plates that got welded into the unibody, bent the link mount over into that, welded the link mount to that, and then welded the 1 3/4 into the unibody to like try and help stiffen it up. Just because the weight was absolutely wrecking my cross member. And it's all it's all 1/4 inch for the tabs and everything like that. Just the amount of force that's getting thrown into it from 1 tons, and I think my tire and wheel combo is 140 pounds. How's that 9 been? Any issues out of it, or has it just been kind of along for the ride?
So I got a story for that one. Let me
Oh boy, lay it on us.
my cigarette really quick.
Fair enough.
So that Curry 9" in the rear has been a fucking. I actually got the initial 9" and the Dana 30 off of my friend Brian from Capital City Customs friend. So that rear end came off of a race truck. So it was already pretty built. But the only issue or downfall I've had for that was my mistake. So last year in November when I ran King of Elbe, which I had no intentions of racing. I just was trying to show up and have a good time. But a follower from Instagram broke his JK. I think his clutch went out. He found me waiting for my friends at the staging area. He's like, yo, you want to fucking race and this and that? And I'm already a couple sodas in, man. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know, dude. Like these
Away we
races,
go.
like these races are, there's there's some big dogs in these races. You know, everybody's got 1 tons and 40s and up and shit. So the class that he was racing was the 40s and up. Oh no, 40s and under. I'm sorry. So he's like, shit, my fucking rig broke. He's like, you want to race? And I'm like, I don't know. But, you know, my girl was like, you know, she pushed me. She's like, hey, you know what? Like, I think you should do it. If you don't, I think you're going to regret it. So long story short, I ended up taking his place in the race. He ran co-pilot with me. And I had totally forgot that I had put 2.25 inch spacers in the rear end, like months before for some like coffee and Jeeps event. And I just kind of wanted to have the stance and show some of my friends, like, just to fuck around, you know, just as a joke. I forgot to take those off. So I was running 2 spacers in that race. And right before the finish line, I hit a rock just right where I blew the passenger rear axle shaft on that 9 inch. That's the only issue I've ever had.
All
Cost me
things
the race, but it was
considered.
fucking hell of a fucking ride, man.
So
If you go back, there's quite a few videos on YouTube about it, and one of my favorite ones is like I'm going through this rock patch, the lower rock section of boat ramp at Elbe, and you can hear it in the videos. Like someone's like, "What the fuck is that?" And then some dude's like, "That's a fucking Cherokee." And then I get closer, and they're like, "Is that a Dana 30?" And then my buddy in the crowd's like, "You fucking bet your ass it is."
is that like one of the high octane films videos?
Yes, I'm actually in that video, I believe.
That's cool.
Yeah, so recently we have this annual like 4-wheel swap meet thing that we got going on here, and somebody tagged me in
I
like
see your
a
rig
few
in that
videos.
video. I've got
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
playing without any sound in the background, and you can see that axle is barely holding on for anything.
Yeah, there's a part where like I get bound up, the front end gets bound up, and I reverse, but it doesn't blow, and I keep fucking going. And I did pretty well for other rigs. There were some other rigs that were built that had 1 tons and stuff, and they blew their rear ends or their front ends and stuff. And there goes little old Cherokee boy trying to make a name for himself. And right when I get to the top, you know, that's where that boom hit that rock just right and blew that rear axle shaft and cost me the finish line.
I will say that I got a lot of love for the style of like the PNW rigs. A lot of them look really similar to like the hardcore New England rigs. So I vibe with that. Um and so is it just me or are a lot of the trails at LB man-made?
Yes. So a lot of the trails at LB are man made. So we have out here we have a great team WTF watch this 4-wheeler. They're on YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. You guys can check them out. But they are a huge part of that park. They put on work parties where they correct trails from assholes or douchebags who get off the course and fuck things up or whatever, and they just occasionally always just make things difficult, you know, which is great. You know, they had bigger rocks, and like most recently they had added that lower section of boat ramp, where there's huge boulders, and then it leads up to boat ramp. There's another trail that they just added a bunch of rocks. It's I believe it's called Zigzag, and that one's pretty. You know, I haven't, but a lot of those are.
Hello?
I think we
Yep.
lost.
Hello.
Okay, you're back.
Oh shoot.
connection looks like it went out for a second, but now you sound fine.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, yeah, Elbe is a lot of it is man-made.
Now, is that because they don't have the same like rock formations that you would kind of see in like Cal and that type of thing in the PW, or is it in the trail cult?
Yeah, no, it's just because we don't have that formation that other like you guys have out in the East Coast.
Yeah, if you ever get the
Hello?
definitely like AOP
sounds
or
really
one of the parks, it's like you'd have asked. Hello?
Did we
Yep.
just
Can
lose?
you hear me?
Who'd we lose?
Me. Discord's having a moment here.
Yeah,
so,
I noticed the
I was like,
connection
is that
just
me or is
on
that
the
you guys?
Nope,
the
that's
connection
us.
on the channel itself looks like it was a little iffy. It seems fine now, but I said that before. So we'll just keep rolling, and if it backs up again, we'll just hold for a minute.
Pick up.
But I think it's fine. Yeah, no, I mean it sounds similar to New England. I mean, I've always sort of looked at the videos and stuff from people out that way, and it seems similar, right? There's a lot of mud, there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of rocks.
Yeah.
So it's and the scenario you just said with like people coming out and maintaining trails after shitheads destroy things, like that makes sense. And you make the trails harder, so then there's a higher barrier to entry to dumbasses who have a piece of shit Cherokee on stock axles and stock wheels and can't just go bombing through the gatekeeper, essentially, right?
Yeah, and they go around and just mess up
Yep.
things and whatnot.
Yep.
I
I'd love
actually
to-
was able to find a clip of you breaking that axle shaft. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, I kept going, and I remember that day I was just trying to come up, and I wasn't sure what broke. And one of my buddies, Taylor, was just like, "Hey, like stop, we could fix it." And I was like, "No, I gotta fucking do this." And just hammering down and just trying to get up, and I had to end up calling it, and I backed out. So when I backed down from the boat ramp to exit off the trail, that's when the axle just it just completely fell off. So I was literally just dragging the tire. God knows why. These two bolts to the I think they were the brake caliper bolts that were just holding on for dear life till I got out of there.
I just saw the video too, Luke. The tires hanging back, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yep, those
wild.
caliper bolts, those will do it. Those will hold it together.
Yep.
They're probably bent in a like 100-degree angle by the time you yank them
Yeah,
out.
those things
It's like
are
a J
at
hook.
yeah, exactly. They're at a low 90-degree angle right there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna hang out here.
So, how was it going from the land of traction in California to that?
It was day night, man. Honestly, I mean, in California, you got everything that's so dry that you have traction with even fucking Walmart tires, or as you
Yeah,
would probably say, Patagucci's.
I'm saving it. I want to get into that so bad right
Let's
now.
get
But
into it. Let's get into it. Look, let me tell you, I've been running Patagucci's for a while. I ran their first series, the MTs, and at the time, they were affordable when they first came out, and they were great. They work great out here in the PNW. Obviously, there's other tires that do perform much better, but for the
Bumpers,
price, yeah, exactly. For the price, they performed well, and in my opinion, they just got better. after a few years or whatnot. So right now, what I run is 38s black labels, which is like kind of like the half sticky, half DLT compound or whatnot. And a lot of people say that the sidewalls are super weak and whatnot. And I've never slashed the sidewall, never poked a hole in them. They've performed well. I do run them at like, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 psi when I'm out.
Mhm.
They do great in the mud. They clear out very well. Well, like other tires don't clear, so you don't have that traction.
Hmm.
But the terrain out here compared to California is just night to day, because it's just California is just so dry, and you have those sandpaper kind of rocks, and up
Yep.
here you have like
Mud.
like mud. You have the rocks out here are super
Smooth.
smooth. Yeah, they're just kind
Smooth
of
and
like
cold.
river rocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to warm up your tires on them just to get a little bit of grip, or just give it the good old skinny pedal.
Yep. Skinny pedal always wins.
I think part of what's helping your tires also hold up, because I ran a set of them and they just didn't work. We're gonna go right back to the weight thing. Like under a rig like mine, I actually have to make my stickies work for it, because they're trying to move literally an extra ton, which, when you compare that they came out of the factory at like 3,000 pounds, it's over 2/3 of an extra vehicle of difference in weight.
Yeah, and that's when they start to slip. That's when they start to slip, and like a lot of people don't understand that, your weight, your vehicle's weight, it really does matter.
Yeah, I mean, my rig, it either needs stickies to be able to reach its full potential, or it needs sticky TSLs if I want to go to the next step as far as making my rig do more stuff.
Yeah.
And that is what it is. There's no getting around that for me. Unless I were to find a way to cut out, even 1,000 pounds would be a wild improvement.
Yeah,
Or
even
you
if you
gotta cut
stick
out
an
1,000
LS in there,
pounds.
man, I mean, shit, that probably still won't help.
When in the land of 43s and LSs, it's sort of where you have to go.
Yeah.
That's Tennessee and Georgia,
Yeah,
that
Tennessee
area.
is definitely the land of the LS.
Yeah, even
So
Grandpa's got an LS in his
you are not
Ranger.
fucking wrong. It's literally cheaper for me to have you bring down an LS and a spare Cummins than it is for me to buy one down here. But that actually brings up another interesting point. I am surprised by the amount of different stuff that comes out of the PNW. Like, there's a lot of LSs, but I'm sure you've seen the rig. It's that like Beetle looking rig with the K24 swap. That thing's cool as fuck.
Oh, dude, that's the homie John, dude. He's a fucking master. God damn it. Yeah, he's got a 59 Fiat. The original one was the brown one that
Mhm.
he built. Yeah, he built completely, and the thing's a legend out here.
So, is it? I'm not trying to say that that's like the whole thing, but like, it seems like there's a lot more variance in what people are running for engines out there, which is really cool. Um, is he one of the few people out there that's running the K24, or are there more?
So yeah, with his new rig that he just built, the green one, from my knowledge, he's the first one out here to run that. And there's a few people that are in the works right now that are kind of following his steps, whether it's a K24 or a K20. Um, but it's awesome to see it wheel, the performance of it, and just the all of what he's done to that rig by himself at his home is just incredible.
Yeah, it's a cool rig for sure.
Yeah. Also, I've seen what is it? There's that Toyota out there that's running the 1UZ. That thing sounds fucking mean.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't remember his handle, but yeah, that thing definitely fucks for sure.
That's the best description for it. I've seen the video just bombing a boat ramp with that thing like sitting on the rev limiter. It sounds like it's a 7K rev limiter, and there's definitely there's a weird there's something in the water out there. The stuff in the water. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, there's no other way to put it. Just like you said, I mean, there's something definitely out here. Not so much in the water, I would say in the air. Maybe it's all the trees that we got fucking out here. I don't know. Maybe the fucking rain clears out all the toxins in the fucking air. I don't know, but
because I know that out here,
my hat goes off to all those dudes. You know that have that the ability to put such power under their rigs. You know, I mean, I wish I could do the same. But
we're all fucking broken here. There's a reason it's called the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast, not the White Collar Off-Road Podcast.
Yeah, that's why, you know, I mean, shit, I'm a Cherokee boy.
4 rows are a dime a dozen. You can always get another one if you blow it up.
Yeah.
I'm in
it's
Tennessee.
Good, reliable power.
Yeah, I'm in Tennessee, so I know what's in the water here, and it's swampers and small block Chevys.
Which do great too, but I mean, I kind of feel like that's where it started, and it kind of just evolved. I mean, you got from the West Coast to East Coast, you know, over out of the country, you know, got other people running diesels in their shit. You know, I mean, out here you got Nate, also another buddy of mine that he, from my understanding, he was the first one to put a diesel engine in his TJ.
Yeah, that's a cool engine in a rig too, right?
Yeah,
and it seems like from videos and stuff I've seen of that Jeep and that engine, like it makes more than decent power. It makes plenty of power for what he's doing with that rig for sure.
100%.
So we had a dude on named Andy a while ago. I think it was like episode 70, which is kind of funny because we're on 171. But he put a Mercedes OM 617 in that thing and drove it cross country. That thing Richie and I have seen it in person. It does great.
I've seen it. He's a cool dude. He's a crazy dude.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
But then there's also Gage, who put the 12 valve in the YJ, which is just absurd.
Yes.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. Yeah, imagine the weight on that.
It's gotta be crazy.
It weighs about the same as my XJ if I had to guess, and it's a YJ stretched to LJ proportions, if I remember right. But it sounds like an angry piece of earth moving equipment. We'll call it a bulldozer trying to come up the trail because it's so fucking heavy that he's just foot to the floor chooching on it's a first gen engine, so the VE pumps governor springs are just sitting there limiting that thing to 3,500 RPMs or whatever it is, and it's just belching smoke. It's a wild show to watch.
100%.
I think he's got a 14 bolt front. The thing is heavy. Like the whole rig is it's like an elephant going through the trail. And it's like fairly compact, like for a rig like the size of a YJ to have
all that
heavy ass engine.
Yeah, no, I mean you got some great
heavy axles,
some great fabrication for that.
Yeah, he's got what did he have on it? It's a cantilever front because he didn't have any space for the coilovers. So the front axle is actually cantilevered, like so the coilovers are put in like
next to the engine.
Yeah, next to it essentially, and a packaging nightmare in the front for sure.
But it's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back to your setup, I know you said that you got sponsored and you're changing something up in the front end. You want to drop a little bit of little sauce on what's going on there?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, just kind of got tired of breaking everything but the gears in my Dana 30. For everybody listening, yes, I've never broken the gears in that. But I decided to go with Dana 44 up front. I got picked up by Total Off Road and More out here in Linwood, Washington. Um, they hooked me up with a Spicer, the Ultimate Dana 44. So I put the 488s in it, the E-Locker. It's not, I mean, people are still messaging me like, oh, how come you didn't go tons and this and that? And like I keep saying, like, you know what? I just I don't have a small dick. I'm sorry. No, I'm just joking.
I
I don't
mean,
think I need the tons. You know, my rig before did really well on just the Dana 30 and the 9-inch. So, a 44, a lot of people say like, oh yeah, well that's just as strong as a Dana 30 and this and that. Well, let me find out and then we'll get back to you. But that's the new sponsor there. They already hooked me up with the some axle shafts for the ladies JK. We got some 40s coming up for her rig too. But for now, yeah, I got that axle coming that came in already. I'm actually trying to starting to bolt that in. I got to do some modifications to it to put it under the XJ. But yeah, that's that's the juice on that just came out.
I've seen those and I don't know how to feel about them because I just I know my rig and I know my driving, so I don't know how well that would hold up for me, but I'm excited to keep watching that going forward under your rig because you're much gentler on the throttle than I am. So I
Probably
think
because
that
my
it's
engine's about to fucking take a shit soon. That's why I bought another $300 XJ with the rebuilt Renix 4.0. You know that I'm just
Nice.
waiting to
Well,
put that bitch back in there.
that's the best part about having with the 4.0s and having a spare one is like you
Yeah,
have a safety net. You can just be like, I don't know.
I've heard. I mean, I've heard good things about the axle. My we put recently. I long armed and put coilovers and built my lady's JK, and we put a Dynatrack 44 up front in her rig. And I mean, the comparison from that to what I got, I mean, starting with the housing, the tube diameter on the Dynatrack is just completely more beefy than what I got.
now
And
The Dynatracks are pretty good axles for the price for sure.
with
yeah,
the Spicer Super 44 or whatever it is, does that use JK shafts or does it use XJ shafts?
no, that uses it's a JK axle essentially. You
Okay.
know, it's a JK axle. So chromoly shafts. I might end up. I want to see how these chromoly shafts hold up with the 1350 U joints and whatnot. We'll see how that holds up with under my rig with the tires I'm running. But if they end up, not holding up, yeah, I'm gonna, go ahead and pull the trigger on some RCV shafts because I mean, like they say, they're the best in the market right now. But I mean, we will see. Going back to the weight thing, that's what it comes down to. I'm not as heavy as a JK. These things were built for
Yep.
them to go under a JK that are 6,000-7,000 pounds, and mine's only 4,000. So
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think it
You should
it,
be
it
golden.
it it should be fucking Gucci.
Well, also, like you said, it's a 1350 U joint. If you hold a 1350 U joint and a 760 U joint next to each other, there's no competition.
No.
I mean, a
No.
1480 makes it look small, but we were just talking about this with Nines the other week in a Snapchat group. The weight on my front axle with no wheels and tires, 750 pounds with the truss, and that's not counting the hydro. So let's add in the weight of the hydro and the hydro truss I'm putting in there. You're probably at 850 pounds, and then you add my 130, 140 per corner, and suddenly my front axle setup probably weighs in close to 1,200 pounds, whereas I'm willing to bet that your front axle setup's probably going to be somewhere in the realm of 800 with tires.
You know what? And I'll hold you to that. And when I get it all together, we'll we'll run those numbers again and see how close we were. Because I mean, I also am curious about the total weight of that axle and including and then adding the weight of the vehicle to see where the weak point arises, whether it's
I,
the U joints or the ring and pinion or
I
the
honestly don't even think it's going to be the ring and pinion either, because like we've been harping on this whole episode, the weight, but you get that 8.9-inch ring and pinion out of the JK gears with the larger pinion than what you would have even in like a Dana 50. So because you've got that larger pinion with the beefier gears in there, you could even get away with throwing in 35 spline stuff, and I bet you your problem will eventually end up moving back out to the stub shaft and the U-joint area.
yeah.
I don't think it's going to be in the pumpkin.
Yeah, I mean, and the pumpkin looks. I mean, essentially, I think that the gears and everything that's in there is, I mean, the same as any other 44.
They're bigger.
Probably. Oh, they are bigger. I haven't
Yeah,
even looked into it.
the JK gears are bigger than a standard 44 gear would be.
They're
Yeah.
thicker, right? I think it's the
I
thickness
think they're
that's the
thicker.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It-
you have it like if you get an old
It's
school 44 ring gear, it's pretty thin. Like there's not a lot of meat where you'd put the carrier bolts in. But on
well,
a
they're
JK
also it's
or an,
8.5 versus 8.9. So they are actually a bigger gear. If
yeah.
you wanted to put it,
Well, in that case, yeah, it's bigger and thicker. It's just there's less of it, less points for it to. I mean, the tooth pattern is going to be very similar, but you just have more material there,
Yeah.
more ring gear material. I don't know. It makes sense in some sense.
Yeah.
so with all of that stuff going on, when do you think you're going to have it back on the road again? Or back on the trail, I should say. I don't know if you straight drive it.
I mean, we still street drive it. Me and the lady go occasionally to get breakfast on Saturdays. We just like to get the head turns and stuff. Local police, they love me.
Not sure which way you mean on that, but I'm going to assume that they're chill with that.
They're chill with it. They just like, okay, this motherfucker. But no, I should have it up and running like within maybe 2 or 3 weeks, depending on parts. Because when I sold the Dana 30, I sold the steering as well with it. So I just ordered a 7075 aluminum tie rod. I got a bill tag link. And I think that's essentially everything that I have to wait on to be able to drive the vehicle. So, um, I think tomorrow we'll get it all bolted in and everything and just wait for the steering and limit straps, because my broke ass had chains for limit straps on the Dana 30. So now that I got a little bit of money, I want to go with some actual limit straps.
I respect that. I'm literally doing the same thing because I was running shocks for limit straps forever. But I put a 241 OR in, and the transfer case is wider. So as a result of it being wider, it puts my drive shaft closer to the cross member, and I'm too lazy to go and reclock it. So I'm just going to limit strap it before it hits the cross member and call it a day.
All right. I mean, that's the way to do it till it becomes a problem. Like I said earlier in the chat, man. Like I already like you guys about talking about if it's making a noise, we're just gonna ignore it till it becomes an actual problem, and that's how I run my things too as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't stress over, as we already said, you can't stress over something that isn't actively completely destroyed yet in a rock crawler. Like, if you can't easily find it, it's not that big of a problem. Obviously, like,
stressing over that. More. Stressing over what could be sounds like an easy way to develop a mental illness, and we're already fucked because we have rock crawlers.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, for me and my friend group out here, I run with a lot of JKs, and it's weird because I'm a Cherokee boy, and I'm always kind of just fucking sanding it and stuff, and these peeps are just like kind of crawling things and babying their rigs and stuff like that, and I'm just like, dude, let's just fucking wheel. Like, that's just me. Like, let's fucking wheel. Let's push our shit. Like, if you're in this sport, you're building, breaking, and building again, and that's I think that's just the love of the sport, is just having fun and figuring out weak points to build and make stronger, and having a good time, man, with some buds.
So now I can't argue with that, and it's very funny how the Cherokee people end up like spreading themselves, especially the hardcore guys. You start infecting other people, and I've said it before, but you're gonna hear it again. I moved down to Tennessee, and I met up with like Logan, the other Logan, this guy Dave, a guy named Bryce, and they all kind of like are awesome people, but my influence is slowly like chipping away. And we were having a discussion in the around the old Facebooks today about how there's this guy Dave. He's not been in a 1-ton rig yet. So we've got the event called the Meet and Beat showing up, and Richie's flying down. What days are you flying down, by the way, Richie?
It is Wednesday through Tuesday. I don't remember.
What days are this event? Shit, I'm about to fly down too. You got a couch? I'll crash there.
Well, Richie's already got one of them, but the other one's available. The 3rd through the 5th is the event. So, hey, I'm sure we can find you a seat. I know Logan's got one free. But back to the story, Dave's never been in a 1-ton rig before. So we're going to throw him in a 1-ton rig on stickies and send him up one of this trail called George Winters. It's not a hard trail, but it's got like a really solid ledge in it. Okay. And,
I hear that Little Caesars easier. You should send him up that one.
Well, I've seen Little Caesars before.
They had I tell you what, Graham. How about you, I'll let you take the trail gunner position on that one, and I'll follow your lines up that.
I want to look at it since they had a fire on the mountain, I guess. So actually, I know because we were on some of the fire trails last time we were there, and we were like, "This isn't a trail, this is a fire road." So there's some. I guess they had to change around Little Caesars. I don't know how much it changed, or what the extent of it was. I'm sure somebody who goes to AOP on a weekly probably screaming at me right now, but that it hasn't changed at all. But I don't know. So
I want to run out to Granny Templeton too.
Yes, and cream pie, oatmeal. What's the
oatmeal cream pie?
Oatmeal cream pie. Yeah, it can't just be cream pie anymore. That's
it can be. Who doesn't love a good cream pie? Lord knows that Richie's had his fair share. He's got a crotch goblin to prove it.
Oh,
Yeah, there's some fun trails out there, and I'm sure that'll be a awakening for your rider, Luke.
He's in for it, and planning on taking it nice and easy on George Winters. But to get to George Winters, we're going to be hitting 5th on the fucking Axis Road.
And I don't have any sympathy for anybody like being broken in your rig nowadays, because they didn't get broken in on Ducky with the Borat harnesses and a half
the
welded.
Borat.
It was literally a
bad.
Y. It was a crotch strap that went up to your belly, and then 2 shoulder straps that connected to it.
Hey,
Absolute
damn it,
nightmare
brother.
fuel. That's
We
awful.
have came
And
a
it came
long
undone.
way in 10 years.
Yes, we have.
I mean, we do have to look back and realize that was
I
almost
mean,
10 years ago.
Nothing. It didn't kill anybody. It didn't hurt anybody. It's just funny to think about nowadays. Now it's just
Graham, I would like to argue the fact that it did hurt people.
who did it hurt? You?
It
I
hurt
didn't get
me.
hurt by it.
Hurt the nut sacks, probably.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I know that when I rolled that thing, I went into the roll cage real hard, and I was wearing a helmet, which was probably one of the smarter things I did. But I had an imprint of the roll cage in my side because there was no side-to-side holding. It was like stock seats. And after that instance, and then your instance with the harness coming or getting fucked up, that was when I bought those Corbu's that I've been happy with, and the PRP 5 points. So
Yeah.
we did learn from that particular weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, just like everybody else that just learns from those mistakes, those
Yep,
sometimes
that
painful
Borat
mistakes.
harnesses are a mistake. That is there is no doubt in my mind about that, and they were quickly changed.
Literally after that weekend, I spent
Yes.
$1,200 on harnesses and seats. So
Yes.
like, there was a very rapid turnaround on that. Speaking of seats, what are you running for seats and harnesses in the old Squirrel?
The old Squirrel's got some Mastercraft seats, and then I got a bucket seat in the rear, PRP bucket seat for that I initially put in for my kids. They enjoy the sport too when they're out here. But for harnesses, I believe it is Spartan, and they are 5-point harnesses.
Hell yeah. I just asked
Oh.
because, like, that's one of the most important and personalized things that you can do. But, like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
also one of those things where you can kind of show what you like. I don't know. It just seemed like a good question.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people everybody and their mama runs PRP, and everybody knows about PRP, but only the real ones know that, Mastercraft's I think they've been out longer than PRP.
They make some decent seats.
They do.
I yanked them out. I don't know. I think those are like Ridge something seats. But I have seen the Mastercraft seats. They're solid. I mean, a seat's a seat, right? And the PRPs are expensive. So
They are fucking an arm and a leg. God damn it.
yeah. And they don't. I have some, and I mean, they're great seats. But and
Yeah.
I've bitched about this before. But my I have it's like the fake leather one, and I've had them in there for a few years. It hasn't.
My Mastercrafts are I fucking love them. They are so easy to clean. When they're fucking caked up here, in the PMW, you got a lot of fucking mud and shit.
Yep.
And I just let them dry. I let the mud dry, and then I just vacuum them, and they're fucking good as new.
Nice.
I've got the Corbu Baja SS's, and when I ordered them, I got them custom sized for me and my girlfriend. I just let them dry, and then, like, if there's chunky mud on there, I knock the mud off of them, and I've been using glass cleaning wipes on them for like 2 years because I just had them, and somehow they've ended up in the Cherokee. And 0 issues to date. Like, those seats have been troopers. What are the PRP base model buckets going for?
The more than they used to be. I know that.
I think they're like 4 or 5, maybe more. I haven't even looked, to be honest. Dude, I built my fucking squirrel on fucking Facebook Market parts, dog. Shit you not. I am a
That's
broke
the way to do it.
motherfucker. Yeah, man. I bought those Mastercraft seats off of some dude off Facebook Market for like, I think it was like $200, and they were retailing at the time for like close to $400 a piece.
Yep.
I was like, he bought them and he was gonna put them in his Nova or something like that, and I was like, I sat in them and I'm like, this is great, this is awesome. I'm putting these in the Cherokee.
I mean, Richie's got a set of. What's your race seat out of? Wasn't it a simulator?
What the
yeah.
fuck?
I used to build flight simulators right out of high school, and the company before doing the flight simulators, they were doing racing simulators. So they were some like Chinese off-brand racing simulators, and I ended up stealing a couple of the plastic buckets and a couple of the like fully padded buckets.
I don't think I've ever seen these seats. They're not in your rig, are they?
No, they're not in my Jeep. I honestly don't know if I would ever trust them to be used like in an actual rig. But I've had a couple doodads over the years that I've bought and built that I just slapped the seats on because they fucking hold you in place pretty good.
My dude Richie over here just getting high as shit, just sitting in these seats, simulating him off-roading, huh? That's what you use them for?
Yeah.
So on the note of PRPs, I also just realized they don't make the deep buckets. I like the deep buckets. So
I
that's
don't
kind of
like those to
sadness.
get in and out. I fucking hate them.
Are you the PRPs?
Yeah, like the deep seat ones. Like
They make the deep ones still. They're called the premiers.
Yeah.
I didn't
They
see
still
them
make
on their website.
So
I'm
they
looking right now.
advertise the daily drivers a lot because that's what all the
mall crawlers.
People who just want to put PRP seats in their rig do. The premiers are nice. I don't know. I think they undersize things. I'm not a big guy, and I wish I got the seat with a little bit higher of a back. And I mean, I fit snug in the seat, but if I was any bigger, like if I was, you don't know Curtis, but Curtis is this big dude, just bigger dude. He's not horizontally challenged in any way, but he's just a big dude. Like I don't know if he'd fit.
He's 6'6".
Yeah, he's just a big guy, and like I don't know how the hell he orders seats because I don't think you can make a seat for somebody that big. Same with Billy. I don't know how the hell Billy's just got the Ford seats.
Billy's special.
He just curls up into a ball in the Ford. But yeah, I don't know. I like the premiers. The bolsters on the side, I don't know. It just makes you feel like you're in, like you just feel more secure. I like them. That's just my opinion, though.
Sorry, I have
the to get in and out of. So
I have the Baja Ultras, which are the really high back ones where it like comes off at an angle. But the backstory on that was I rolled that ZJ, and after having rolled that ZJ, I was like, no the fuck, I'm not coming out of this fucking seat. Doesn't matter what happens. That roll cage is going to have to crush around me and be cut out from around me before I come out. So, and ironically enough, that roll cage would have crushed around me.
Yeah.
The things that you learn about... Yeah, in the old rig. In the new rig, that would be an accomplishment. I counted it out. I have 16 points of attachment on that cage to the body.
Wow. That's a solid cage, huh?
It's a double B pillar, a double A pillar, a triple C pillar. It wasn't supposed to be any of that, but just due to the way that all the tubes got attached. And then the top of the B pillars ran down to the shock hoops. The back of the original C pillar that's in there was ran to the shock hoops. So it's like just super fucking sturdy, and like at this point, I'm probably copying your door bars or something similar to your door bars. I want to put a bend in them so that way I've got a little bit of straight to continue the body line. Like, where the body bends on a Cherokee?
Yeah.
I want to come off at that height, go straight until I get even with the shoulder, or a little past the shoulder area on the seat, and then have it come down. But very similar to what you did.
Nice. I actually want to cut mine off and do the whole buggy look. So where mine goes kind of down at an angle, I want to cut that and make it straight across. But that's just something in the works.
Is your girl going to be able to get in and out? Because that's part of the situation I've ran into, is my girl is not going to be able to crawl out of my rig if I do that. I want to, but it's just...
I think you're just... I mean, she'll be able to. It's just like the way that my bars are at right now, it fucking hits your cheek, dog, when you're out. Like, it's just... It's not a big inconvenience, but it essentially it's better the way that it is now than the way I want to make it. But I guess I'm just kind of going for more of a look, because I want to essentially put some plate, like I want to close the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So kind of make it go towards more like a buggy look, instead of having that open side.
Deep interior.
Yeah. It's just more like it just kind of more of a protection and more of a look as well too.
So what I'm looking at doing is I want to do the downward bend to connect. I'm sure you've seen my Instagram and seen like that double A pillar.
Yeah.
I want to connect to the bottom of that double A pillar, and then I've got the OG doors still, so I'm gonna cut the door and skin the door to go over that, and
That was
use some of the...
awesome. That's awesome.
And then I'm going to use the Barnes tube clamps to make it so that it's removable for servicing stuff inside. Because I'm fucking lazy. Awesome.
No, I get it, dude. Like, that's why because I had the same similar idea with the skinning of the original door to put the plate, to put the sheet metal on the existing bars that I have right now. But I have most of my recovery gear behind my driver's seat or my passenger seat. And it would just kind of be a nightmare to reach that shit. Well,
I get that.
Pickle, you know what I mean? Like, fuck.
So on my setup I've got like that big, I'm gonna just call it the fucking node behind the rear seat, and it makes it a nightmare to get anything back there. And so I was looking at Harbor Freight. They've got the big tool bags now. So what I want to do is I want to come off of that node and have one of those big Harbor Freight like bags clip to a tube, and then on top of that tube, in between the driver and passenger seat, I've got the 517 Metalworks fire extinguisher mount. So I want to run the fire extinguisher mount on the top with a clip on the bottom to hold the tool bag. And behind the seat, I was going to make my old bag into the recovery gear bag, because I don't have windows, I don't have kids, and I don't have seats back there. So I was just going to clip that to one of the tubes there, so you can just reach through the window, grab that, and go.
Got you. Which is convenient.
I want to have fire protection in between the driver and passenger at this point. Just, I've seen too many other issues, and we talked with Zach Savage from Savage Racing, And he's like, yeah, dude, I've seen too many rigs go up. And I'm like, all right, I get it at this point. That's got to get changed.
Yeah, safety's number one, man, for sure.
Yeah, it is. Now, question for you. Do you have any small animal facts for us?
Uh,
I mean, you got the username of
No
Squirrel.
squirrel facts.
well,
Nothing?
what kind of facts? What kind of facts are
Anything.
you interested in? Well, let me tell you my favorite one. Us squirrels, every time we land from jumping off a branch or etc., we'll always land in a superhero landing.
Okay, I'll take that.
Google that shit, dog.
I'm gonna have
literally
to
gonna
Google that shit.
right now.
Google that shit right now, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And for the listeners that are listening, you know what? Do the same.
No shit.
We are fucking superheroes. Just don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that for the animal fact. But you know.
Well, you wanted the most interesting one, and there you go. Not a lot of people know that one.
I thought squirrels, when they landed, they spreaded their weight out so that way it absorbed impact
Oh,
better.
here comes the peanut gallery. Too
Oh,
sick for the podcast.
There's
but
a few
here's
times that I was gonna
the
jump in,
animal
but
fact.
well, I realized
Cody
there was no way that I'd be able to end the recording if I didn't know that the podcast was over. So I was like, "Fuck, I have to hop in, otherwise that's just gonna go on for
No,
hours." So,
we can end the recording just by going to the recording chat, Cody.
oh no shit, I didn't realize that you guys had access to that. Cool, that's good to know. Sweet.
I mean, I have a big button that says stop recording.
How about
Don't
we
push that
don't
button
hit that
yet.
button?
Push the
Yeah,
button.
don't. How about we fucking don't? All right, I'm gonna go back to being quiet. My bad. Nah, I'm just kidding. What the fuck? You guys think I'm just gonna shut up all of a
I got a
sudden?
question
Hell
for you
no.
guys. Let's get into
Hit me
you
with it,
guys.
motherfucker. Hit me with
Oh
it.
no shit. We want to talk about
All
cars?
right, so
Let's do it.
y'all are from the East Coast, correct?
Yes.
No. I'm just kidding. Yes.
All right. So, what have you guys gone out here to the West Coast?
So
never.
Not.
I
the
think the
closest
furthest we've gone is Pennsylvania.
Kentucky.
Missouri.
Missouri.
You have been to Missouri.
So not
Is
even
that
the King of the
further
Hammers.
Not even King of the Hammers yet. It's on the radar, but we
Let's
kind
do
of
it.
I don't know.
we
I don't want to like fly out there and not have a rig. I'd be upset. I'd be like, I want my rig. I want to
See,
drive.
I'm waiting for them to ask one of us to be like one of the talk show people, you know, like one of the announcers, and then it'll be a really good excuse to go out there. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
You might have to suck some wieners for that one.
Yeah.
Well, good
ah.
Yeah.
No, but definitely something on the radar. We just haven't really made it out there. We are slowly making our
It's
way.
the other
out
side
that
of the
way.
country. I mean, it's more complicated than just flying a plane over there. I don't know. I
And to be
want to
fair-
take a rig. Like, I don't want to. I think that's part of the adventure, right?
Yeah, that's true. Well, let me tell you guys, you know what? If you guys ever want to fly out here to the PNW, you're more than welcome to stay at my house, and you're more than welcome to drive the fucking Squirrel.
Hell yeah. To be
Fuck.
fair, I would say a good reason we haven't is because like you're the first guest on that's from PNW, and usually what we kind of do is after we talk with people, we stay friends with them, and then like they let us know when like either a big event is coming up or something exciting, and then we
Yeah.
kind of plan around it. Because I'm sure if we had a reason to go out there, I'm sure we
Makes
would.
it
Oh,
easier, right? It's harder to plan something. Maybe not cold turkey. That's the wrong word, but without something
Initial
going
planning.
on, right?
Yeah. No. I mean, honestly, I'm humbled that you guys, reached out to me and asked me to be, a guest on your podcast. I mean, I followed you guys for a while. I've listened to, these major names that you got on here. And that's what made me a little nervous about getting on here. And I'm like, why the fuck are they like? Why did they pick me?
We
Like,
talk
there's
to
so
normal
many other
people.
cool people out here.
We
I was
don't
like,
just
these
talk to the
motherfuckers wanna
gods of
roast me.
off-roading. We're just normal
Like, these
dudes.
motherfuckers want to roast me. I think that's what it is. They're
Sometimes
like,
the
yeah, he's
roasting
the.
does
Let's
happen.
get this fucking bean over here that's got fucking Patacucci's and a Dana 30 on a fucking Cherokee bug. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get drunk for this.
No. I mean, I think that's like one of the coolest parts that, for me with the podcast has been just it humanizes everyone. Not saying that all of our guests are like these super godly figures, but I mean, we've had some people who are like pretty big names in social media or just in the off-road world in general come on, and it's like they're just a normal person, and normal people can talk to normal people, and that's what we all are. So like it's just I think it's fun for everybody, for us and people.
Y'all are
listening.
normal. I'm special ed.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah,
but-
honestly, when you guys assumed that he had a wife earlier, but he has a Cherokee, I thought that was a strong take. Jeez, Cherokee guy has to be gay.
Who? No way. Let me call my girlfriend. Hey, babe, come show them that you don't have a penis.
Luckily, there is no video portion of this podcast.
Oh, well, good thing we're over the phone and not a video. Shit.
So
That's hilarious.
Oh, well, actually, so now you asked us about coming out to the West Coast. Now, the real question is, are we going to see you in Pennsylvania in September at a Web Wheelers Ball and come out to the East Coast?
You know what? Maybe not this year, just because I got a lot of personal financial issues due to my fucking baby mama. But recently, me and my girl we just bought a brand new truck. We got a diesel, a 3500
Ooh, there you
Cummins,
go, man.
and easily we already have hooked it all up, deleted it, and all the good old works and stuff. So we plan to start doing some traveling, man. I've never been to Utah. I've never been to San Hollow or whatever, fucking all that shit. And the East Coast is something that I really want to do. I mean, you guys fucking party out there, dog. You guys, you know what? You guys are the white Mexicans, dog. Straight up. You guys are fucking crazy as fuck.
So for shits and giggles, I just looked up Seattle to Roush. That's a fucking 40-hour drive.
God damn.
Jesus.
So
Hey, with a couple of road
No.
sodas, man, you know what? That time will fly.
I do have to ask though, like out of curiosity, what's the West Coasters' impression on the East Coast? Because like we have two different impressions. For California, it's you better watch out for that cactus, and then you've got the Pacific Northwest where it's like I didn't realize that we were mud bogging.
You know what? It's just I'm not even sure how to answer that question because
They just don't
I
even think about us. We're
even
not on
even
the
though
radar.
I've been here for a while, you know what I mean? It's just it's just the love, dog. It's just the love for the sport.
Yeah,
I'm excited to try everything and experience different things. I mean, that's what makes you a better driver. Not the shit you bolt on and shit. It's the shit you fabricate and you build yourself, and the experiences, the terrain that you come out there, or whether it's East Coast, West Coast, or whatnot. I mean, I've never been to the East Coast. Just West Coast, and then the PMW, and the PMW is just a lot of people shit talk on us out here for our terrain and our man-made obstacles and stuff, but I've never seen a lot of them fucking come out here and wheel this section because I don't know.
Yep. But you guys
I
have
mean-
like the same sort of issues that as far as accessibility as we have, right? You're in a corner, right? We're in the corner of the states,
Yeah, pretty much.
opposite corners. So it's like, it's just harder to get to those places. Like
Yeah,
for
and
us, you
like
got to get through the hellhole that is New York and Connecticut and all that stuff. And you guys, I'm sure there's something. I don't know.
Idaho.
Yeah.
No,
Fucking-
you're the hoe.
I mean, I've been called far worse, so you ain't gonna offend me. Takes a lot to offend someone that's willing to walk around in a hat that says "Please be patient, I have autism." So,
Well, you know what? It takes a lot for me to get offended out here too. Just being a fucking one of the few beings out here with a bunch of whites and whatnot. I don't want to get racial and whatnot, but it's just I love the sport and I'm out here fucking just being as crazy as anybody else.
Yep.
hey, I respect the shit out of that.
Yeah,
If you're into the sport, you better be into the sport, and you better be able to shit talk. I got
100%.
the most annoying people to me in anything are the people that think they deserve something without earning it. And like, I don't give a shit what you are if you're out there fucking earning it. Like,
You know what? The
you-
biggest thing, sorry to cut you off. The biggest
go
thing
for
for
it.
me, dude, let me tell you something. When I first came out here, I didn't know fucking nobody, dog. And like I said, I mean, y'all seen me, I'm beaner as they come, dog. And I'm out there doing my thing, enjoying the same sport that everybody else fucking loves. But the thing is that I don't have that money that everybody else had. So I built the fucking shit that I have. And I have outwheeled people with $100,000 rigs. And they fucking hate it.
Oh yeah,
Excuse
dude.
me.
They don't
But that's like
understand. They don't understand.
They're just like,
That's-
oh, like, and that has caused me to have fallouts with people, and it's caused, sorry, I'm getting into the fucking drama of this fucking community. Is it's I've had people not invite me out to like runs and shit because they don't want a shitbox showing them up. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
So-
rude.
hella rude.
we had we went out to Good Evening Ranch. Like, this was going on 2 years
we don't know what
ago.
that place is.
You ain't wrong. We went out to a place in West Virginia a couple years
There we
ago, and there was a group of buggies broke down in a trail called Cripple Creek, and they were not impressed to watch the cavalcade of Cherokees go running the hard lines past them.
Just pass them while they're fucking broken. That is amazing, dude.
It was fucking priceless.
And in traditional Luke fashion, I had to be banging limiter going through there, almost putting it on its side with blatant disregard for what was going
But
down.
did you ever shoot a rod through your engine? Did you
Yes.
ever get computer issues and all this bullshit like other people
Yes.
fucking do? You did.
I am on 4-liter number 5 in this Cherokee.
Oh, see, you guys are a different breed then. Fuck.
No, I'm just special.
You know what? I'm just
And I
gonna
buy
buy
the worst
my
motors.
4.0s out here.
I will literally show up, buy the $200 4.0, and have it in the Jeep in 8 hours, and be back out wheeling. Like,
Hey, you're my hero.
dude, the 4-liter that's currently in my Jeep, when I first put it in, I didn't even bother changing the oil, and only changed the oil filter because it got crushed on the install. And I wanted to make sure that it was going to be an okay engine before
when
I
I bought-
bothered with the oil change.
When I bought Squirrel, I bought this shit. I kid you not. I bought this off this white lady that looked like a crackhead that was with her boyfriend that was black. And I fucking told her, I'm like, hey, give me the story on this. She's like, oh yeah, my dad like rebuilt the engine, this and that. I'm like, okay, bought the fucking XJ, really doubting that her dad rebuilt that engine. That was 4 years ago, and the fucking engine is still fucking banging limiter, banging fucking.
It probably was rebuilt then.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that fucking crackhead was right. She
Dude,
just needed money for crack.
the 4-liter I picked up was cut out. Like when I got it, it still had the body side motor mounts on it of a wrecked Jeep, and there was a video of it running for 10 seconds before the fuel pump cut out because of the whatever solenoid it is in there for when you wreck the vehicle. I think it's the auto shutdown.
You put motors, all your motors you've heard run before you put them in?
That's
Several
insane.
of
I've
them,
seen that
no.
on Facebook Market. They're like, yeah, this is the video where it ran before I pulled it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna trust that shit.
I was saying, I've got motors that I had. They were sitting in a. Sorry, Luke. If you want to finish, you can finish.
Oh no, I was just gonna
I was
say
gonna
I
bring
saw it
up
run
the-
for all of 10 seconds while it was knocking, and I was like, whatever. And that's the engine that's in the fucking shit box still.
It's a 4.0. The knocking and the ticking is normal.
Well, the secret to getting rid of that is the
Hold
Rotella
on, let me guess.
1540.
Let me guess. Lucas oil stabilizer.
Yes. You throw a quart of that in there with some Rotella 1540 and a V8 ZJ oil filter to get that extra 3/4 of a quart capacity, and you just forget that it exists until it lets you know that it's very upset and the crankshaft is cracked.
Oh man, you guys would have a great time wheeling with me out here, dog. Straight up.
Well, when is King of Elbe?
King of Elbe is probably one of the biggest events here that we have in the PNW. And it is held, I believe, at the beginning of November.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see what the vacation time's looking like, and
Yeah.
That's not a bad time either. 'cause,
Definitely
like,
let me know, dude. Like I said, usually I rent an RV and I just fucking throw that bitch out there, come back home, pick up my fucking rigs, and go out there. But if you guys want, man, like let me know and I'll pay for everything that we need here, and you guys just fucking pay for your flights and come out here and have a good time, dude. I'm all about it, dude.
because like the flights are not bad if you book them early, right? Like,
No, they're probably like $300, $200.
and to like go out and have a killer weekend and then hop on a plane and come back ain't that bad of a deal.
Nah, me and Graham driving out there. Let's do it. Let's go. Load up. Let's bring the rigs. Come on.
Rig.
I'll sell. Hey, you know what? If you guys decide to drive out here, man, I'll sell a few. I'll sell a few dick pictures and send the money over to you guys. Fuck it.
Man, they ain't gonna pay for much though. Jeez.
Hey, man, I don't know, man. You ever seen a squirrel's nuts?
I don't
Oh,
want to
shit.
cut this shit short, but we're starting to come up on that 2-hour mark.
We are.
All right. Well, let's.
So, in before we go to closing out and everything here, you got any more questions for us, or
I don't. I mean, shit. I mean, I learned a lot about you guys. You know, over this conversation, you guys seem like awesome, great dudes. You know, humble dudes and shit. And I see you guys going pretty far with this fucking podcast. And I will say one thing is that I remember hearing. I forgot what podcast it was that you guys were talking about finding some sponsors for some fucking cameras and microphones and taking it to the next level, man. Count me in on that sponsorship, man, and I'll throw in some couple $100 on that because I like I said, I mean, just with this conversation we've had, I seem pretty close to you guys and relate with you guys on many levels and stuff, and I love to see people grow and just let me know.
will do, boss? So hit us with the socials again. Do you have any YouTubes? Any? I know you got an Insta.
Yeah, so I got my Instagram, Squirrely, SQUIRRELY
for those of you
_
that can't
XJ.
spell.
Yeah. It's 'cause some people like put double L in there. Maybe I'm the retard and I only put one L. But yeah, that's how you do it. Squirrely _XJ. That's on Instagram. I do have a YouTube. It's called The Squirrel's Life Off Road. And I have not updated my YouTube. I started my YouTube out way back, and I haven't. I had a fallout with my friend that she was the one that was videotaping me and doing all my edits and stuff. So I recently got a GoPro, and me and my lady are planning to start that back up. So we will do a update on the rig and start that back up. But for right now, Instagram is basically my only social right now. And that is Squirrely _XJ. And yeah.
Awesome. So real quick, little side note there, but I ended up finding you through Facebook.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, so I was scrolling through after my girlfriend sent me a reel, and it was one of your LB clips. And then I ended up finding you on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh shit,
That's interesting.
Okay.
Which one? Which one did she tell? Tell me. Which one was it?
It was a clip of you going up boat ramp, and it was like, you know how they'll share the Instagram reels to Facebook? I think that's what it was, and the algorithm just dropped it after a romantic video from my girlfriend. And so like I hop over there, I'm on
I
the
thought
wrong
more
Oh
you
my
said, I
god,
was like, wait
baby!
a minute.
Don't make me fall in love.
So I hop over to the right Instagram account and I started shooting the shit with you, and then here we are now. And I
Nice.
think that there was also one of them I saw through the Facebook stuff where it was you talking about the JK30.
Yeah. So recently, before we end this, and we probably should have talked about this a little bit earlier, but recently my shit's just been popping off, man. I made that video of I'm a Cherokee boy on Instagram.
Yep.
It's gone pretty viral, and then after that I made a few videos, but to be honest, I'm not a huge influencer or this and that. I just fucking shoot the shit, you know what I mean? I just shoot what I like and do what I want, and that's that. People fucking like it or they don't, and that's that. I'm not out here actually making skits and whatnot. I'm just out here having fun, man. And I appreciate I appreciate all my followers and everybody out that out here that's supporting me and supporting my friends. And shout out to them, man, because they're the ones that they're the reasons I'm out where I'm at right now, like socially speaking,
Yeah. And I think on that note, there is no substitute for experience. The more seat time that you have in your rig, the better you will be able to do. You will never be able to buy performance.
100%, and I stand right behind
Not
that.
performance. Wow. Yeah, no, I butchered that one. You can buy performance. You can't buy skill. Wow. Sorry, I'm tired. It's been a fucking day, boys.
And I fucking
butchered
agreed
that
with him,
one.
and I didn't even understand what he said. I was just like, these fucking drinks are getting to me, man. I'm like, God damn it, wait.
Hell yeah, you're right, Luke. You can't buy performance.